In this video we are going to look at a couple application examples of finding area and perimeter of objects. So in this first one we have a swimming pool. It's built in the following shape that's given. And we're told that the homeowner wants to build a fence around the perimeter of the pool and create a canvas to cover it. The question asks you how many feet of fencing is required and how many square feet of canvas is required. So to answer both of those, we need perimeter. So the first thing about perimeter is we have to know all sides of the shape. So if you look, this is cut into two shapes. We have the rectangle piece and we have the triangle. What we know about rectangles is that we have two sides that are the same length. So that tells us that this top piece is also 15 and this side piece over here is 12. Now with the triangle, we've got this hypotenuse piece, and this piece we're not sure about, but I do know that this is going to be a right triangle, which means to find this hypotenuse I can use Pythagorean's theorem. So here c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Okay. With that, we can plug in the information we know. So we know that c squared is going to be the same as 11 squared plus my 12 squared. So in this case, c squared is going to be 265. So c is going to end up being 16.28. So now that I know all pieces, I can find my perimeter. And the perimeter just simply says add up as you go. So my perimeter is going to be, if I say started right here and worked my way around, the first thing we would come to would be this first length here. So this would be 16.28. We would add it to the next piece. So this piece right here is 11. We would add it to this next piece, which is 15. We would add it to this piece here. So this is plus 12. And then finally this top piece here, plus 15. Now notice what we did is we added up all the solid lines. The dotted line is cutting straight through my swimming pool, so this line would not be included. So here this tells you that your perimeter is going to end up being 69.28 feet. Since you can see that the inside here, the measurement we're talking about is in feet. Now with perimeter we have to also find the area. So we're going to find the area of our rectangle and then the area of our triangle. So the first thing we have is we have the area of your rectangle, which is going to be length times width. So if we're looking at it, our rectangle is 15 and 12. So this is going to be 15 times 12. So in this case, this ends up giving you an area of 180 feet squared. Now the next thing we need is we need the area of your triangle. So this is 1/2 base times height. In this case, the bottom small piece is your base and this vertical piece is your height. So this is going to end up being 1/2 times 11 times 12, which is going to give me an area of 66 feet squared. So here your total area is going to be the rectangle plus the triangle. So in this case we would have 180 plus 66, which is going to give me a total angle or area of 246 feet squared. Alright, this next one says that we have a window in the shape of the following, and we want to know if the glass costs 85 cents per square foot, how much the whole window will cost. Okay? So when we're looking at this, there's a few things we need to keep in mind. First, I want this to be in square foot, And if I look here at my measurements, I'm in inches. Okay? And that's for both. Both of these are in inches. So the very first thing that I have to do is I have to convert from inches into feet. So in order to do that, we have 54 inches, and we are going to multiply this by 1/12 feet. And the reason for that is because this would be 1 foot to 12 inches. And so in this case, we're going to end up getting 4.5 feet. We need to do the same thing with the 26. We're going to take our 26 inches and we're going to multiply that by 1/12 feet, which is going to give us 2.17 feet. Okay. So now that we know that, we could add in the information that we need or have, which is this length here is going to be 2.17. We know that means this piece right here is 2.17. We know this piece here is going to be 4.5. We know this outer piece here is going to be 2.17. And then we need to figure out this angle here. Okay, so this part right in here we can call C. What that actually is we have to find their circumference, but notice we only have 1/4 of a circle. So here, actually we don't really need the circumference. What we need is the area. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to find the area of your rectangle, which again is length times width. So in this case, it's going to be 4.5 times 2.17. So in this case, 4.5 times 2.17 is going to give us 9.75 feet squared. Then I need to have the area of your circle, but then I need to divide that by 4 because I only want 1/4 of it. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. Since I only want 1/4 of it, I'm going to divide the whole thing by 4. So in this case, it's going to be 3.14 times my radius here is the 2.17, and I'm going to square it, divide the whole thing by 4. So in this case, the area of my quarter circle is going to be 3.69 feet squared. Now that we know that, we can actually determine the area of the entire shape. So the area of the window is going to be the rectangle plus the quarter of your circle, which in this case is going to be the 9.75 plus 3.69, which gives you a total area of 13.437 feet squared. Now most stop here, and that does not actually answer your question. If you remember, we want to know how much it's going to cost. So in order to find your cost, says you have to take the 0.85 and you have to multiply this by your area, and that is going to give you the cost per square foot. So in this case, we're going to take 0.85, multiply that by the 13.437, and that is going to give us a cost of $11.42. Now remember, when dealing with money, you always want to round to the nearest cent. Okay, so 11.42. Now the last example that I wanted to look at is this one here. We have a 25-pound bag of grass seed that's going to cover 1,200 square feet. If your lawn is in the shape of a rectangle and measures 205 feet by 145 feet, how many bags of grass seed will you need to cover the lawn? So one thing that you can do is you can look at a picture. So I have this rectangular lawn here, and I have measures of 205 feet by 145 feet. And I also know that a 25-pound bag is going to cover 1,200 square feet of lawn. So the first thing I have to do here is we need to find the area of my lawn. So my area is again length times width. So in this case it's going to be 205 times 145. So my whole area is going to be 29,725 feet squared. Now in order to figure out how many bags, okay, so the number of bags is going to be the area of the lawn divided by the area coverage. So in this case, the area of my lawn is going to be 29,725 feet squared. The coverage is 1,200 feet squared. So when we divide that, you're actually going to come out with a decimal close to 24.77. And here's where some logic is going to come into place. When you go and buy grass seed, you can't buy part of the bag. So the actual answer here is that you would buy 25 bags of seed. Okay. So sometimes in math you do have to use a little bit of common sense in order to get to the answer that you are looking for. So I do hope those applications help you with what you're doing in terms of area and perimeter. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy. See you next time.